So one of the podcasts I really liked was with Chisako Hardy, the fund manager for Axel Framington in Japan. She talked about Japan's place in the world and how it had changed over the years. For example, after when the Berlin Wall collapsed, that coincided actually with the market collapsing, and I think she had some really interesting things to say on that.
As many stories as you can. Really honoured to be joined by Nick Trindale, who runs the AXA Sterling Credit Short Duration Bond Fund, Matt Tong, co-manager of the Lion Trust UK Microcap Fund, Edmund Harris, who runs the Guinness Asian Equity Income Fund, Chris Garston, co-manager of Waverton European Growth, Gary Potter and Scott Spencer on the BMO Multi-Manager Franchise, Navigation, Distribution. Then my favourite, where we have James Thompson from Rathbone Global Opportunities and Bertie Thompson from the Brown Global. So two Thompsons, two Globals. What could possibly go wrong? And have a good fun evening. So.
Another megatrend is the shift in global economic power. China is at the centre of this change, given it is set to replace the US as the largest global economy in the late 2020s.
Another area of concern is resource scarcity. According to the United Nations, the global population will surpass 9.7 billion by 2050, at which point they predict the world's agriculture systems will not be able to supply enough food for everyone.
From recycling more to buying second-hand clothes, putting my own unwanted garments in the school fill-a-bag fundraiser and walking instead of driving short journeys, I've done more this year already than in the other 44 that I've been on this earth. Here are some of those frightening statistics. Demand and therefore production of plastic has grown 2,000% in the past 50 years, but surprisingly little has been recycled. Of the some 9 billion tonnes of plastic produced since it was invented, it's estimated around 7 billion tonnes are still in existence. 15% is recycled, 40% goes to landfill, 32% leaks into our environment, and the remainder is incinerated. It's also estimated that at least 8 million tonnes of plastic enter our oceans each year. That's the equivalent of a large rubbish truck full of plastic being dumped into the sea every minute of every day. By 2050, plastics could outnumber fish. The other thing that I really like about it is he does this thing called his daughter test. Basically, he will go to an area in the UK, whether it's Leeds, Manchester, Horsham, doesn't matter where, and he will walk around late at night in the area where he wants to actually buy a property. And if he thinks that he'd be happy for his own daughter to live there, that she'd be safe, he'll go ahead and buy. That's the type of analysis that I really want a fund manager to be doing before they actually invest in something on my behalf.
I mean, a real highlight, which kind of just reflects the length, the duration of the fund, is a company called Next 15 Communications, which is a digital marketing agency. And it's a company that we invested in right at the beginning of the fund's life in 2009. And over the period that the fund has been around, that stock has appreciated almost tenfold in value. So it's been a really successful investment for us. And what the company does is focus marketing services, but on technology clients. So its client roster is a who's who of big tech companies like Facebook, Oracle, Google, Microsoft, etc. And just to give you a sense of how long the fund's been around, Facebook was a very new customer of Next 15 when we first invested. At the time, Facebook's revenues were about $200 million. And I checked the other day, and their forecast revenues for 2019 are $70 billion. So that perhaps Facebook would do a better investment, but Next 15's done us very well.